Do you feel it? That almost unbearable tension, like standing on the edge of something vast and life-altering, knowing you're meant to leap, yet something unseen, heavy, and unnamed pulls you back. It's not fear, it's not doubt, it's something deeper, the quiet weight of old stories, old identities, old illusions. And if these exact words have found their way to your screen right now, understand this is no coincidence, this is a divine appointment. A sacred synchronicity arranged by a universe that has been whispering your name through every sign you've nearly dismissed. Your soul, your higher self, brought you here because you're ready not to learn something new, but to remember what has always been true. So take a breath, not a shallow one, but a deep, conscious breath, and let these words move through you. They're not just letters on a screen, they are frequencies, keys, codes, designed to awaken what has only been sleeping. And if something in you stirs something ancient, something real, type "I am ready" in the comments. Let the universe hear you. Let yourself be seen by those who are also remembering, because you are not alone in this, you never have been, and the moment you choose to remember, everything begins. You must grasp this fundamental law of the cosmos, a truth as real as the ground beneath your feet. You are a creator. You are a divine architect, endowed with the incredible power to design and build your own reality. Right now, in this very moment, with every thought that flickers across the screen of your mind and every feeling that flows through the sacred vessel of your body, you are engaged in the act of creation. You do not need a perfectly arranged altar adorned with crystals, a meticulously written journal filled with affirmations, or a dazzling vision board shimmering with glossy pictures to begin this holy work. Why? Because the work has already begun. You are already doing it, ceaselessly, relentlessly, with a power so profound, so constant, that you've mistaken it for the simple, mundane background noise of your life. Every fleeting thought that drifts through your consciousness, every perception that colors your view of the world, every silent judgment you whisper to yourself in the quiet, lonely moments of the day, these are not passive, meaningless occurrences, far from it. They are the divine materials, the sacred bricks, and the vibrational mortar you are using, minute by minute, to construct the very fabric of your existence. This is not some fanciful metaphor or a poetic turn of phrase, it is the literal, vibrational mechanics of the universe. Your consciousness is the ultimate, living vision board. Your heart is the sacred loom upon which the intricate tapestry of your life is being woven, thread by precious, potent thread. Every single moment is a choice, a brushstroke on the canvas of your becoming. The real challenge, the great and pervasive illusion that we are all born into, the one that keeps so many souls feeling trapped and powerless, is that we completely overlook this immense, God-given power. We dismiss it as insignificant. Why does this happen? It is because this creative force feels too normal, too familiar, too deeply ingrained in the simple, everyday act of being alive. It is like the very air we breathe. It is so essential, so constant, that we forget we are breathing it at all. Just consider for a moment the instant your eyes open to a new day. What is the very first energetic frequency you choose to tune into? For so many beautiful souls, before their feet even touch the floor, the mind immediately begins its old, tired, and deeply grooved ritual. It doesn't scan the horizon of the new day for its boundless potential, for its opportunities for joy and connection. No, it scans for problems. It summons a ghostly, holographic parade of yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's anxieties. And instantly, your body, your loyal and sacred vessel, follows this divine, albeit unconscious, command. A tightness forms in your chest, a subtle, energetic armor you don against a battle that has not yet even begun. A cold, sinking feeling begins to pool in your stomach, a physical, visceral echo of a fear that exists only as a flickering shadow in your mind. And there it is, the cycle is complete. Before the sun has even fully cast its golden light upon the world, before you have met a single challenge or embraced a single opportunity, you are already living, breathing, and vibrating in reaction to a reality you haven't even encountered yet. You are meticulously building a prison of expectation and then spending the rest of your day lamenting its cold, hard, and unforgiving walls. You are unconsciously casting a powerful spell of lack and limitation and then wondering with genuine confusion why true abundance feels so frustratingly far away. This is the nature of unconscious creation, the powerful, misunderstood, and awe-inspiring magic you wield every single day without even realizing it. But let us venture deeper into this mystery, for this is precisely where the truth of your experience begins to unravel and reveal its sacred underlying pattern. What is truly happening in these all too common moments of unconscious reaction? Your mind, this magnificent and infinitely complex instrument, is diligently laying the foundational bricks for the emotional house you will inhabit for the rest of the day. And it's not just a structure for today. This house, built from the vibrations of your habitual thoughts and feelings, is the one you will likely return to tomorrow, and the week after, and the year after that. It is, in a very real sense, building your emotional home vibration by vibration. The profound tragedy in this is that you believe you are the sole designer of this home, but for most of your life, you have not been. You likely don't even realize that the blueprint, the master architectural plan for this entire structure, was handed to you years, even lifetimes ago. It was not a blueprint of your own choosing. It was subtly slipped into your consciousness by the environment you were raised in, by the spoken and unspoken frequencies of your family, by the rigid, often limiting rules of your culture, and, most powerfully in our modern age, by the vibrational diet of the content you consume. Your mind, your beautiful, powerful mind, was shaped, programmed, and layered with a multitude of beliefs that were never truly yours to begin with. You inherited a blueprint for a life that may not, and probably does not, fit the expansive, magnificent truth of who you are. This is how incredibly powerful your mind is. It can build an entire reality from a borrowed, second-hand blueprint and then convince you, with absolute certainty, that it was your own original creation all along. And yet, despite this monumental creative power, we treat this force like the insignificant hum of a distant appliance. We dismiss its constant, guiding whispers as mere, inconsequential background noise. We casually utter phrases that cement our own prisons, saying things like, "Oh, that's just the way I think," or more damningly, "I'm just a worrier. It's who I am." Have you ever found yourself speaking these words, claiming a limitation as an identity? Have you ever accepted a painful, limiting belief as an unchangeable core part of your personality? You must understand this with every cell in your body. No, that is not simply who you are. You were shaped, you were programmed. You were layered with the energetic dust of generations and the heavy expectations of a world that often fears the very light you carry. But here is the glorious turning point. Here is the sacred moment where you reclaim your divine sovereignty. The very instant you become aware of what you are doing with your focus, the moment you can step back and observe your own thoughts without immediately becoming them, that is the moment everything begins to change. That is the moment you stop being a passive, helpless passenger on a journey you didn't consciously choose. That is the moment you gently but firmly take the wheel of your own life and decide for the first time where you truly want to go. This profound shift is not, I repeat, not about forcing a strained positivity or chanting hollow affirmations that your soul knows are untrue. It's certainly not about faking a sense of gratitude while a tempest of fear or anger rages within your heart. This is about something much deeper, much more real. It's about recognizing the one, single, liberating truth that no one ever taught us in our classrooms or our childhood homes. Your mind is not just a passive camera recording the events of your reality. It is the master composer, the divine artist, the powerful conductor orchestrating the entire symphony of your lived experience. Every single day, your mind is not just seeing the world, it is actively creating it. And the moment you stop overlooking that, the moment you truly and deeply grasp the depth of this incredible power is the moment the invisible chains begin to dissolve and everything, absolutely everything, starts to shift in your favor. We were raised in a paradigm that taught us to believe that thinking is a passive activity, something that just happens in the background while the real events of life unfold before us, often to our detriment. We were conditioned to see ourselves as victims of circumstance, tossed about by the random, unpredictable winds of fate. But the truth, the deep and unshakable cosmic truth, is that your thinking is the most active, potent, and creative force in your entire universe. It is not background noise, it is the command center from which your entire reality is being broadcast every second of every day. Your mind does not just passively watch life happen, it actively filters it, interprets it, and assigns it meaning, and then, with breathtaking speed and precision, it quietly and authoritatively tells your nervous system, your hormones, your very cells, how to react, to that interpretation. And this, right here, is the critical junction where the path of your life can become either treacherous and slippery or smooth and flowing. Let's imagine a simple, everyday scenario. You walk into a crowded room, and a stranger's gaze falls upon you. In that single, fleeting instant, 1,000 potential realities are born from that one event. If your mind's internal blueprint is wired for self-doubt, etched with the old, painful wounds of not enoughness, it will instantly generate a thought: they are judging me. There is something wrong with me, and your body will immediately obey. Your shoulders will tense, your heart rate will quicken, you might blush or look away, and you will inhabit a painful reality of anxiety and separation. But what if your mind has been consciously rewired? What if its blueprint is now being built on a foundation of confidence, self-love, or even just peaceful neutrality? Then, that very same look from a stranger becomes something entirely different. The thought generated is simply, they are just looking around, or perhaps they seem curious. Same moment, same external event, but two completely different realities, two parallel universes of experience. So, the ultimate question is, which one is true? The profound and liberating answer is neither of them, and both of them. The reality that becomes true for you is the one your mind chooses to create, the one you emotionally and vibrationally inhabit. Your mind creates the version of reality you live in. This fundamental principle is precisely why two people can endure the exact same hardship, the same job loss, the same health challenge, the same painful breakup, and walk away with completely different, often opposing, emotional outcomes. One individual is shattered, their spirit broken, their belief in a benevolent universe destroyed. The other is transformed, their spirit tempered like steel in the fire, their understanding of their own resilience deepened. One becomes a lifelong victim of their story, while the other becomes a powerful warrior forged by their experience. It is never, ever the external experience itself that defines you. It is what your mind, your consciousness, your soul does with the experience that matters. And yet, tragically, most people journey through their entire lives without ever questioning the nature of the thoughts they think. They react to them as if they are absolute gospel, as if every fleeting fear-based thought is a divine prophetic message from the heavens, instead of what it truly, truly is: a habit. Just a habit. A familiar, well-worn, and comfortable echo of what you've been feeding your brain over and over and over again. Your mind is simply replaying the songs that you've kept on its playlist for years. And here's the part of this sacred message that can be difficult for the ego to hear, but is absolutely essential for your lasting freedom. The world that you currently see around you, the chaos, the persistent anxiety, the frustrating patterns of bad luck, the recurring disappointments that seem to follow you, much of it is a direct reflection, a perfect mirror responding to a mental and emotional lens that you haven't consciously cleaned in years. The patterns in your life, you must understand, are not random acts of a cruel universe. They are repetitions. They are the clear and precise echoes of your own dominant inner frequency. And repetition is the mind's way of saying, with unwavering certainty, I believe this is what you want to keep experiencing. It does this not because a certain reality is true, not because it is good for you, but simply because it is familiar. Your mind's primary, most ancient job, a sacred duty it inherited from eons of evolution, is not to make you happy. Its most fundamental job is to keep you consistent, because in consistency and predictability, it perceives safety. And consistency, as you now know, does not always mean truth, it just means familiar. This is the very reason why people find themselves inexplicably drawn to the same toxic relationships, with different faces but the exact same painful dynamics. It's why they replay the same debilitating fears, the same self-sabotaging behaviors, even when a part of them consciously knows better. Their mind, their powerful GPS, has not yet caught up with their soul's courageous growth. It's like having the most powerful, sophisticated navigation system imaginable, but it's still running on last year's outdated map. You're trying to navigate to a new, beautiful, expansive destination, but your mind keeps rerouting you back to the same old, broken down and painful neighborhood. It does this not out of malice, it does this purely out of habit. This, right here, this moment of recognition, is where the great shift, the grand awakening, truly begins. It starts when you consciously decide to treat your thoughts not as unshakable, absolute truths, but as mere suggestions, as passing weather systems. as temporary, neutral data streams flowing through the vastness of your awareness. That internal voice, the one that whispers insidious lies like, "You're not good enough," or screams in a panic, "You'll never make it." You must realize with every ounce of your being it is not a prophecy, it is not your soul speaking its truth. It is simply old, inherited programming, a ghost in the machine, a relic of a past self trying desperately to stay relevant in your present. And the most beautifully wild and liberating part of this whole sacred process is this. The more you simply and dispassionately observe that voice without attaching to it, without believing its stories, the more utterly powerless it becomes. You don't have to fight the thought. You don't have to wrestle it into submission or argue with it. You just have to see it for what it truly is, an echo. Because when you see it clearly as a relic of the past, you stop feeding it your precious, life-giving power and attention. And the moment you stop feeding the thought, it begins to starve. It starts to wither. Its grip on your reality loosens until it becomes nothing more than a faint whisper in the wind. This is how people truly, lastingly change. Not with grand, flashy, motivational speeches or sudden, dramatic overnight awakenings, but with quiet, consistent, moment-to-moment awareness. When you stop blindly and automatically reacting to the noisy, frantic voice in your head, you finally create the sacred, silent space to hear something else, something much deeper, something infinitely more true. You begin to hear the gentle, wise whisper of yourself. Not your trauma self, not your conditioned self, not your anxious self, just you. The real, eternal, and powerful you. And that sacred center is where your true, unshakable power lives, patiently waiting for you, buried under all the noise. And here's the part that surprises most people who embark on this profound path. You do not need a perfectly quiet, Zen-like mind to change your life. You do not need to get rid of every single negative thought that arises. That's not how the mind works, and honestly, it's not how you as a human being work either. The key is not forceful control. It is a gentle, loving relationship with your own consciousness. When you realize that your mind is just trying to protect you, even when its methods are outdated and cause you pain when it's being negative, anxious, or hypercritical, you can start to shift out of a state of internal resistance and into a state of compassionate understanding. And from that understanding comes true, authentic power. Because now, you're not at war with your own thoughts anymore. You are consciously choosing how much attention and belief they deserve. And as you consistently and gently give less of your precious energy to the noise, you create more and more space for genuine clarity. Clarity about what you actually value. Clarity about what truly matters to your soul, not what the world told you to chase. Clarity about what kind of life feels deeply aligned with your spirit, not just impressive to others. But here is the catch, and it is a crucial one. You cannot fake this. You cannot trick your mind into thinking better thoughts by forcing empty affirmations that you don't believe deep in your bones. You have to actually watch yourself with the loving curiosity of a scientist of your own soul, moment by moment. Notice how often you slip into the old, comfortable, well-worn loops of negativity and self-criticism. Notice the little ways you betray your own inner peace just to win someone else's approval, to avoid a moment of discomfort, or to fit into someone else's narrow definition of success. Because those tiny moments of self-abandonment, they compound. They are not small at all. Every single time you pause and choose conscious presence over mindless panic, every time you take a deep, grounding breath instead of spiraling into anxiety, every time you question a limiting thought instead of letting it control your entire day, that is a brand new, powerful neural pathway being carved in your brain. That is you consciously, lovingly, and patiently rewriting the very program of your own mind. This is the real, unglamorous, and profound inner work. It's not a big, loud explosion, but a series of quiet, consistent, moment-to-moment choices of awareness. And eventually, one day, you will wake up and you will realize something profound. You didn't just start thinking differently, you have actually become someone else entirely, someone rooted in your own truth, someone aware of your own power. Someone so deeply centered that you are unshaken by the chaos that once consumed you. And the people around you, the entire universe, will notice. Because when your inner world changes, your outer world cannot help but follow suit and reflect that change back to you. You'll notice something strange and wonderful when you start operating from this place of centered awareness. The world doesn't react to who you were yesterday. It begins to react to who you are being, right now, in this present moment. You don't need to announce to everyone that you've changed. You don't need to prove your growth to anyone. People will feel it. Not through your words, but through your energy, the strength of your new boundaries, the peace in your silence, and the clarity of your decisions. And suddenly, the very things that used to trigger you, that used to send you into a tailspin, they begin to lose their grip. You're not just reacting anymore, you are consciously responding. You're not chasing after peace, you are protecting the peace that is already within you. Because once you taste what it feels like to have true inner stillness, you will no longer tolerate anything or anyone that disrupts it. You stop over-explaining your choices. You stop giving your precious energy to dead-end conversations and relationships. You stop waiting for closure from people who were never open to giving it in the first place. You stop negotiating your worth just to stay liked or accepted by people who don't resonate with your soul. This doesn't make you cold or hard, it makes you clear, and that clarity is magnetic. You'll see it in the way the right people begin to respect your time and your energy, in how new, aligned opportunities seem to magically appear that match your new frequency instead of your old desperation, and in how you no longer feel drained and exhausted just from the simple act of existing in your own life. You are no longer outsourcing your worth to someone else's fleeting reaction. You're not seeking peace anymore because you have finally become it. And that, my friend, is when everything, absolutely everything, truly begins to shift. Not because life suddenly got easier or the world changed, but because you stopped resisting yourself. You stopped swimming against your own powerful current, and instead, you learned to turn around and flow with it towards the magnificent destiny that has been waiting for you all along.